Hello. My name is NicholassRivas. I talk about politics and stuff, and today we're going to be talking about why Gen Z is saving this country. I don't like these really broad stroke statements where, oh, X generation is ruining this country. So I wanted to just kind of flip the script and just get people's, riled up over stuff because obviously Gen Z is not saving this country. Like as a whole, everyone's an individual. Yes, generations have different. Well, that guy got a double kill on us. They have good, bad people. They have people doing good here and people ruining it for the rest of us here, right? Like we as humans are not monolithic, and so obviously there's caveats to say that, and that's why I don't like saying it. I really just wanted to kind of get this gut punch feeling from people who read it and go, well, no, they're stupid and they're bad babies and they look like a dumb, like I want people to just be, I want the boomers to come out, I want the old people to come out and be like, this is why they stink and you stink and my mindset isn't one generation is better than the other. I think there's always been this sort of oligarchy within our society where it's been, the wealthy versus the poor. Like that's the real battle that we should be looking at. And not even the wealthy themselves, more so the wealthy, political powers, the wealthy who want to keep people down, the military-industrial complex, the, for-profit healthcare systems, like the powerful is what we should be going against, as a whole generation together. But the idea, though, is a lot of people are still stuck in their old ways where they blame each other and they say, this generation sucks because of their pop music. Like, obviously, those people are stupid. Why I say this whole that we're going to save the world type of thing is not because of ourselves. Like the Gen Zers aren't going to just save the world just because we're Gen Z. But I think the access we have, the mindset we have, the beauty of the internet really connecting people. When I look at young people now, younger than me, the kids in high school, I see a very well-educated group of people who want to fight for injustices. Not to say that's just uniquely them. I mean, look at the hippie age. People were fighting and wanting peace and love, and that's not gone. And they'll never be gone. There's always going to be that. And I know youthful sometimes inherently brings people out to be more like social justice warriors. There's a reason why like people are like, oh, you're going to grow out of it. You're going to grow up and be a conservative, right? Like that's the mindset. If you're liberal and you're young, that's kind of a given, right? But the idea is though, wow, I'm really killing it this game. The idea is though, I think that is getting less and less true as time comes, because I think people are realizing just how political how things have been politicized when they shouldn't have. We're going to politicize a generation. We're going to say this generation's crap and that's why everything's going to hell. When in reality, it's like, oh, we have record-breaking mortgage rates, going up. Meanwhile, houses are still a steady price. And you have a world where people aren't making as much as they used to per capita of what what things costed. Inflation's going up, but we're not making enough. Like these are the real issues, and I think the Gen Zs are gonna, see that. I did use the title as a sort of like clickbaity, hey, I'm just trying to get you guys stirred up, but I definitely think there is a generation afoot that is going to attack these woes of our society. Like it's not like they're gonna see the stuff that's going on in our world and just ignore, like become politicians and ignore it. Not to say it doesn't happen, but the worlds of the Bidens, that's a bygone world. Those old guards, they truly, I think if you were to throw Biden into our current society, he would be like, how do you expect me to afford this? How do you expect me to do this? When you have a generation of people feeling this, you're gonna see a change. And I definitely can see them doing it. Obviously, there's nothing inherently stronger or better about one generation to another, other than just the capabilities that they're, the shit that they're thrown into is what makes a generation. There's a reason why the Vietnam era people really hated war. I mean, they saw it firsthand, but I know people post that never really got to see it. No one ever got drafted. Like we never got to see this World War II conundrum because we never had this as privilege as the millennials could be, or the privilege as the boomers were not, right? Like or I guess they were, because they were the ones who came post World War II. But you know, every generation has its woes and its concerns and its confusions, and there's nothing wrong with how our generation is crafted. I like to think, like, when people are like, ugh, your generations are sissies, and it's like, well, I guess that's kind of the future we're shooting for, where we don't want our generation to just be a bunch of warmongering weirdos. Like, I don't want my kids to grow up in a world where they feel like they have to be this warmonger. They have to be this, I'm gonna die in battle. Like, I thought we passed by that in our caveman days and shit, but you know, I guess we didn't. But it's okay that I can strive for a better world. I want my kid to be a little softer in the sense of he don't have to worry about a draft. You know, that's not, I'm not asking for a lot there, but I think to some we take that as being soft. I mean, I don't want my kid to just blame the next generation for his issues when there's, you know, corrupt people in our establishments that make it the issue. So what I imagine is going to dissipate within the newer generations, as it's kind of slowly already happening. These older generations never really got to understand this, and granted, maybe it was just their surroundings, but you have these kids seeing like, oh, the Republicans just voted no on the gas price gouging, the baby formula, the mental health in schools. They see that. They go to school and see that schools, you know, some stuff that you and I would have never witnessed, maybe less so myself, because I'm in this generation of sorts, but I would have never thought of, or my family would have never really thought of school shootings much, but those kids see that every day. And it might be media being hyperbolic of sorts, but it's definitely something that's going to stick to kids. You're going to see kids have a fear of continuing these terrible outcomes we brought upon ourselves, you know? I just you can't, like, okay, for one, kids are going to be the next generation regardless of how you feel. Like, these kids are going to be the people running our country. That's just how time works, and it works on a linear path. The next generation will be the old fogies who take over the Senate. They are going to have a different mindset than those before me, and it's not making them softer. It's not making them, they're not just a weak group of people because they want injustices addressed, because they saw these injustices become addressed. It's not that insane to think that these kids are going to then want a better world. Like, that's not a crazy thing to think. So that's why I think there's a better world for the Gen Zers. And that's why I think that they can bring a lot more power to this world. It's not going to be one for one. There's still conservative ideologies and old guards and, you know, bigoted shits. But look at the idea of, like, homophobia is such a, like, bad term. Back then people used to be like, oh, you know, I'm not against gay people, I just don't like them. Now it's like, oh, like, I have nothing against gay people because I don't care about them. Like, that my idea of masculinity and fear of sexuality is kind of non-existent with these younger people. And people take that as like, oh my god, a bunch of F slurs. And it's like, I'm okay with that dying off. If that is old tradition and old guard, they can suck my ass. I don't want to think about a world where my kid has to worry about homophobia. And I'm glad that they're addressing this. I'm glad these kids are putting in power to become a better generation in regards to social issues like that, and to issues of like less war. I mean, like, these are the topics where I'm not going to be like, oh no, they're destroying that tradition of we like to be homophobic, or we like to just be war fuckers, you know. Like, I'm glad to hear that this generation is fighting for stuff like that. I'm glad those are old guard positions. Like, sue me. Like, I want a better world for my kids, and I think that is a better world. And yeah, it might fit my more political agenda, but, you know, boo-hoo, more Americans are for abortion than they were in the past. Like, it is what it is. I'll take that, you know. And so I see a better world. I think the Gen Zers can really fix this crazy world we live in. And it's not going to be one for one. It's definitely going to have issues. I think there's a lot of Andrew Tates in the world who are going to morph some kids for the worse. But you know what? I think there are better worlds we're living in, and our kids could bring it. And that's the whole point, ain't it? Like, aren't we supposed to be fighting for kids to be doing better to this world? Like isn't that not the mission of society? And if you want to teach your kid how to, like, you know, I'm going to teach my kid how to be a rough-tugged boy and homophobic and be a misogynistic piece of shit, go for it, my guy. But that's the old ways of society, and we're not going to see that. And I'm glad. So I think I'm kind of harping on the same thing, so I'll just let it ride here. But thank you all so much for watching, and gabagool.
What? You don't like it?
Securing Alpha. Losing Charlie. Securing Bravo. Securing B. Enemy RCXD detected.
Semtex.
This isn't working. We're behind.
Hey, what's your problem? Check your fire.
Taking Bravo. Desperate times mean desperate measures. We have to take this. Hostile counter spy plane established above. Securing Bravo. Cruise missile inbound. Dead call. Hostile air patrol detected.
Engaging counter spy plane.
Pull the damn plug. Deconflict and move to exfil.
Fall back to exfil. We're outgunned.